talk about organic chemistry, chemical reaction. Okay, so things like, oh my gosh, what's this? Oh, oh really? Yes. Oh, okay. Char, wait, no, wait for a while. I'm just adjusting the, no, okay. Glyceric acid. So, before going farther, let's start first with glycerine, glycerol, things like that. So, glycerol is very important to treat wounds, burns, like that in our skin. Right? That's glycerine. Is obtained from the fatty esters or acids. Things like that. So glycerin and glycerol will be mean the same. And this is non-toxic. And the color is white. Things like that. So sometimes it can be used also as a food additive, as a sweetener. As I told you, glycerol is an sugar alcohol hybrid substance. Okay, then also it can be used also as a humectant. What do you mean by humectant? Humectant meaning it will absorb the moisture, things like that. So if it absorbs moisture, your skin will not become dry. Take note the logic. If it absorbs moisture, it will attract moisture, it will capture moisture, then it will really moisten your skin or wetting your skin. You get the point? So, your skin will not be dry. So that's why this glycerol and glycerin is also one of the raw materials in the manufacture of lotion. Lotion. Okay, it's blended there in the skin cosmetic products for, let's say, smother your skin, things like that, or whiten your skin also sometimes, right? Okay, so it makes your skin fairer, things like that. So, mo na siya mga applications sa glycerin or glycerol. So, what is the formula of glycerin? So that we can understand really what is glyceric acid because it's connected. Before we can, because I'm not familiar also. First time also to do this kind of, chemical formula. Now only my entire life. Okay? So I need to challenge myself with unfamiliar chemicals to react. Okay? Meaning so that it's a challenge, right? So things like that. So kapag kita sa balik-balik ng mga murag tag obsolete, no? Let's balik-balik ato mga sa una kanina mga bago man jud nang fabricate. Actually, dugay na ni sila guys, the chemicals, but the way I blended it, it looks like new. Okay? Because if you try to react chemicals, there's a lot, right? So the probability is there will be a lot will do the not repetitive or not in repetition because there's a lot of chemicals. There are trillions of chemicals all over the world. Or I think it's more than that. Okay, you got the point? So how can you expect that you always encounter that all the time? Right? So there are times that, oh, it looks like strange from our eyes. Especially if we are not working now in a chemical industry. Okay, or in a laboratory or in the related to being a lab technician or analyst or whatever. Okay, or because supposedly guys, if you have the laboratory for me so you should really have the periodic table inside the laboratory. Okay, that's one thing. It will add impact to your laboratory if you have periodic table inside your laboratory room. Because everything will start from the periodic table. You get the point? All chemical elements listed there. Okay, for example, quartz. Okay, let's attach only a little bit of overview. Okay, let's say quartz. Okay, what is the formula of quartz? So, stock knowledge. So it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be SiO2 or the silicate or silica. Things like, I'm not really that sure, Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, now we have also the hematite. Hematite is Okay, F2O3, meaning the iron 3 oxide or the iron 3 oxide or the ferric oxide. Then we have also the magnetite. The magnetite is gonna be Fe3O4. Tama ba ni siya? Okay, Fe3O4. Okay, magnetite. And we have also the calcite. Okay, now, what is the formula of calcite? You will be confused for this because we are familiar only with another name for this. Like in a cement industry, we always blend our raw materials with limestone, right? So this is also limestone. Okay? Limestone is calcite is just the same. So calcium carbonate, CaCO3, CaO2. So this is limestone, raw materials in cement industry, right? So this is called also calcite. The only difference with this, there's a combination or mixture of hematite, okay, I don't know, calcium oxide, okay, like here, calcium oxide. Because if you try to split calcium carbonate, okay, like that, in organic chemistry, let's review. Okay, it will become calcium oxide solid plus, okay, CO2. So it's expected that somewhere along the way you have the raw materials of calcium oxide, obviously. See? It's composed of calcium oxide and some of the carbon dioxide. What's this carbon dioxide? Because you know, the rocks are exposed to the atmosphere. There's always carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, whether you like it or not. Okay. Now, where's the oxygen? The oxygen is blended with the CO2 and in the calcium oxide. You get the point? And the carbon also is here, see? So, there's a long story before it will become carbon dioxide. It will also carbon plus oxygen, because we have also oxygen in the atmosphere. That's why it becomes CO2. And then plus calcium oxide before it will become a calcium carbonate. So, before it will become a limestone, marami siyang pinaghuhugutan. You got the point? Before it became a rock, so it will not become a rock if it will not absorb or it will not receive gas called carbon dioxide and oxygen. Now you will be shocked because the product is solid. So you will think in another way around, how come this is solid, how can you say there's a gas? Okay, but science professionals really dig what are the raw materials for that before it becomes a solid. So it starts with a solid calcium oxide plus oxygen gas, carbon dioxide, and carbon. Things like that. See, in the raw material is very obvious before it become a limestone. So we are now more on the investigative professionals. Okay, before it became a limestone. The limestone is a study of, I know we know that geology. Okay, this is a study of geology, studying the the earth's crust, the soil, like that, blah blah blah, so and so, and related also to mining, engineering, or related also to BS metallurgy. Okay, that's the profession that are really close with each other. Okay, since these are chemicals, that's why chemical engineers part in or penetrates a little bit because it talks about chemistry, process chemistry or chemistry of the soil or chemistry of the land or soil chemistry, the composition of soil. We got to point things like that, and the largest percentage of the soil composition is the element called silicon, because it came out in the board examination during our time. Okay, which among the elements has largest contribution to the soil? And the land A, silicon, B, iron, like that. Multiple choice. Okay, of course silicon, because since we know that sun is SiO2, and it's not oxygen, because oxygen is abundant in the planet Earth. We are referring only to the soil. Of course, if we're referring to the totality, oxygen is more abundant than silicon, but the question is not like that. Which is abundant in the soil? So you will answer oxygen. Oxygen is general. So this is silicon. So tempting kayo, kaya nasa dito ang oxygen sa choice. Okay? Because We know that also that oxygen is the most abundant element in the planet Earth. So normally we will attach that to the question because the question said largest percentage in the soil. Right? Actually, the answer is silicon. It's not oxygen. You get the point? Just like telling the most abundant element in the universe. You will answer also oxygen. Remember, oxygen is in the planet Earth only. We are referring to universe. Meaning, which is lighter, oxygen or hydrogen? With a charge of something positive 1, very light, and a mass of very light mass. Okay, you got the point. Imagine 1.008 only. Okay, things like that. Okay, it needs 1.008 gram of hydrogen. Okay, use 1 atom of hydrogen. Things like that. This is what we mean by gram per atom. It's meant to say 1 atom will produce 1.008 grams in a nucleus. This is what we mean by gram per atom. That's why you can easily calculate grams, atoms, molecules, moles. So attach the Avogadro number in it and then you can solve. For example, what is the mole of bromine? Calculate the number of moles of bromine without any given, only bromine. So you can compute the mass, the blah blah blah, the so and everything. You get the point? So tempting kayo mga question because there's no given sometimes and asking for a quantitative numerical figure. Okay, you get the point? Calculate the molecules of ganon. Buong na may molecules. Okay, so klaro kay Avogadro number, ganun mga no? Okay, so makalingaw biyagin siya guys. Okay, now, going back to our, so remember calcium carbonate or limestone or calcite, the raw materials are calcium oxide solid plus carbon dioxide, and before it will become a carbon dioxide, it comes first with carbon and oxygen gas. Okay, thanks lang. Decomposition chemical reaction by the way. Okay. Okay. Padayon na taan ng glyceric. Taasa sa itong istorya. Okay, now going back to the glyceric. Okay. Glycerol, anak siya ay C3H5OH times 3. This is the formula of glycerol. Okay. So, glycerol formula should not be forgotten. Because without this, we don't have level of triglycerides, we don't have cholesterol, and cholesterol is very important as a structural component of our cell membrane, the lining of our cell membrane. The moment there's no cholesterol, it will be bleeding immediately, it will get wounded immediately, it will become inflamed immediately. That's why we need higher cholesterol compared to the other parameters in our health issue other than the other parameters like glucose, like that, like proteins, whatever. You get the point, uric acid, like that, mga level-leveling. Okay, so muna, dagko dyan ang record sa cholesterol. Okay, you get the point, compare sa uban. Things like that. Okay, mas dagko dyan ang triglycerides, second ang cholesterol. Okay, before it will become a cholesterol, it comes first with the triglycerides. Okay, you get the point now. So to understand further, you need to understand glycerol. Imagine you are controlling your cholesterol and you don't know what's the raw material before it become a cholesterol. Okay, then how can you make the control measures if you cannot understand what kind of substance is that? Okay, so we will relate to the generic way. You don't eat a lot, like that, only like that. So let's go to the, the technical way of taking the measures. Okay, you get the point. So this is glycerol. Now, glyceric, klaro kayo siya, glyceric acid. Okay. So, napaproduce kay glyceraldehyde. Okay. Atong i-attach ang mga the same formula so that we can have a wide knowledge in terms of glycerol, glyceric, chuba-chucho. Okay. So, glycerol can be interpreted also as glycerine. What's only the difference between glycerine and glycerol? The application it will produce. Okay, for example, glycerol, it can be adaptive or applicable to food industry. Okay, but glycerin, it's also produced in cosmetic products in the lotion, like that, or whatever the cosmetics for cosmetology raw material. So that's only the difference. How it is being sold commercially, it will become glycerine. Okay, but the same formula, this one. So we can say that glycerol and glycerin are the same. Okay, it's gonna be the brand name and the chemical name. Okay, things like that. For example, if I have muriatic acid, the brand name is muriatic acid, but the chemical name is hydrochloric acid. For example, if I have agua oxinada in your toilet, so that will be the, the commercial name or the brand name, but your chemical name is hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. Things like this. These are a lot of like this in the market. These are only few examples. Okay. So carbonated drinks. So these are soft drinks. Okay, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Carbonates because we add carbon dioxide, solid carbon dioxide, and water to become carbonated drinks. But this is what I understand. Why they called soft? Okay. Why they called soft? In fact, that's no longer soft. You added carbon. So who invented soft drinks that is soft as an adjective? I know that drink is obvious. Drink, obvious. Any liquid can be a drink. Okay? If it will be acceptable to our human body. But why called soft, not hard? So what's the difference? Okay, ni follow ra pud ta kung sa gispangsulti sa mga karaan o sa giingon sa kalibutan. So we need to dig why. Okay, there's a lot of terminologies of all soft talaga ang ipare sa drink para mahimong soft drinks. Okay, got the point? Things like that. So why? Then this is a carbonated drink. So it is now soda drinks. So once you add CO2, soda is the right term for that. Okay. Diet soda and diet drinks. Okay? Like that. So there's a carbon dioxide plus water to yield carbonic acid H2CO3. Okay? And balance the chemical reaction like that. So all soft drinks will follow this chemical reaction. Okay? To become carbonated. So we will add always carbon dioxide, but not in a gaseous state, not in a liquid state, but in a powder or solid state. So that is what we call as dry ice. Okay. So this is not literal in understanding because there's an ice. We will say that's really also an ice. Okay, this is only a terminology we refer to a solid or powder carbon dioxide blended in solids as one of the raw materials. Okay, or the ingredients. Ganon, no? Okay. Most of siya dito sa glycerol o sa glycerine. Okay. Now, glyceric. Wala. So, glyceric acid. Because most of the acid ends in C. For example, chromic acid, oxalic acid, citric acid, ascorbic acid. There's always IC in the last two letters of the terminology. You get the point? So that's why it followed the pattern. Glyceric acid. Oh, ganon. Now, follow the formula of glycerol to come up with the glyceric acid, but with the attachment of the functional group. So let's say, carbon 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. How many hydrogens supposedly? There is 8. Later na siya. Take note, this is an acid. So attach at the terminal. Okay, at the top or at the bottom, but it's preferable at the top. Okay, what's the reason for this? It's preferable to the top. Okay, there's a reason for that because it is hydrophilic in character. What do you mean by hydrophilic in character? It's water loving. It can easily attach to highly polar molecules. That's why it will put at the top most of the times. Okay, things like that. So it's gonna be carbon double bond oxygen OH, and this is now your acid thing. See, check. How about your glyceric thing? Okay, so we have follow the formula of glycerol. Okay? First. First only because this is the first time also. Okay? So H, OH. Okay, CH2OH, right? Ganun. Take note. Okay. Take note of your formula. Okay, glyceric acid already follows. Okay. Now, in your C3, correct? Oh, 1, 2, 3. Correct. How many hydrogen? 8, right? Count the hydrogen. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why only 6? Where's the other hydrogen? That's also your identification 1. Take note, your needs to be answered. Take note. Question mark 2. Okay. This is analysis. Okay. Oxygen. 3. So, 1, 2, 3. So, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's exceeding the oxygen. So, I need to terminate or oxygen. Ganon, di ba? So, studyas imong kuan brain cells. Nakakaloka. Okay. So, kay kuan naman yun siya. Okay, di ba ganon? So, 1, 2, 3. Nasubra baya. Okay. So, dili na nato siya i-H. I-OH. H na siya. So, this is CH3. Ganon, no? Okay. Because if you try to put another, it will deviates from the standard formula of glycerol. Because glycerol is our parent backbone of glycerate. Glycerate, like that. A glyceraldehyde. All. Okay. Now, so how about the hydrogen, Sir Sotero? So, come back again with the hydrogen. Okay na ang oxygen O, tulo. 3 O, 1, 2, 3. Carbon, 1, 2, 3. So, 1, 2, 3. Hydrogen na lang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Asa ang duha ka hydrogen, Sir Sotero? Okay, mahanap naman no. Ayaw na pangitaan. Because it satisfies the requirements. And this is glyceric acid. Pugson na mo, nanagod kay carboxylic acid na taas na distribute na good nimo ang tanan. What did I told you a while ago? It's always the hydrogen will change if we alter another name. Diba? Ni match karon sa akong discussion for the very first time. I told you, for example, if I have erythritol, okay, erythro, the hydrogen will be added by 2. Or if it is coming from erythritol, it will become erythros, it will be deducted. Here, the reverse, deducted the hydrogen by 2. Diba? Deducted by 2 because this is not longer an alcohol. Okay? This is now an acid. Diba? Oh, ganon. The same thing. So, muna na itong glyceric acid. Oh, structural formula. So, i-count na nimo. Okay. What, based on my memorization, because this is a very strange chemical, I think it's gonna be, makalibog pagod siya namin yan. Oh, C2H4O2, C3H4O3, C3H6O3, C4H6O5, C6H, daghan kayo siya guys, okay? Mag-ibog siya kayo kadugayan, okay? So, muna ato siya yung structural formula. Okay, that's the point. Kasi lactic acid, okay, pyruvic acid, okay, ascorbic acid, citric acid, malic acid, butyric acid, palmitic acid. So, there's a lot of acids, right? Now, special, glyceric acid. Okay, now, muna na siya. So, what I remember that is we have also propionic acid, C3H6O2. Propionic acid or propanoic acid. Okay, C3H6O2 siya. Okay. Okay, what I remembered, the propionic acid and the propanoic acid is very closely related to lactic. Okay, ang lactic 36O3 man siya during my memorization. Now, duol-duol siya ani, kaya na may C3O niya, nasa CH6. Wala, nakakaloka. Diba? So, duol siya, no? It's gonna be, ada lang ka na natukuan. Char! Okay. So, kung yung 36H02, ala, kuan na ni siya. Katungkos sa. Okay, get the point? So, it's gonna be, okay, kuan naman ni siya, oh, diba, lactic acid. Lactic acid at tartaric acid is the same formula, ha? Okay, napamatay tartaric, nakakaloka. That's why, in our tartar of the teeth. So, that's why we have that also. That's a substance also usually occurred in the teeth, tartar. So we have also tartaric acid. Okay, that's the point. The same formula with lactic acid. They are isomers with each other. Okay, things like that. Ganun na? Now, if you have 3636HO2 na akong giingon ninyo, na mura siyang propionic acid, nakakaloka propionic, propanoic. Yung slide kayo siya diri mo sa Japo, no? C3, diba? H6, Now, kung maingon kong 3 guys, okay, so ito po, mupareho na siya sa, mupareho siya sa lactic. Okay? Mupareho siya sa lactic acid. So, I need to revise with another thing because it's not the same with lactic. Okay. Now, mapugos na po tagbalik butang sa OH. Here. Okay. So, pareho na ang 6 hydrogen carbon. Sa oxygen at ang matter. So, ang oxygen, mahimo siyang 4. Because what I understand in acid, the oxygen will be more. Okay? Sa theory. For example, if I say glucose, blood sugar. So, glucose C6H12O6. The moment it will become an acid, it will become gluconic acid. So, I attach this knowledge in order I can use this for the first to make the formula of glycerin because I don't know. You got the point? 6 like that. So, C6H12O7. So, it's the same thing also. You will increase your oxygen atoms also in glyceric acid. Okay, here. You got the points. It will become C3H6O4. So, C3H6O4 is your chemical formula of glyceric acid. Wow. Really? So, I added another for my brain. Okay. 36HO4, 36O4. Glyceric na siya, no? Okay, ganun. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, oxygen, hydrogen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, perfect. Carbon, 1, 2, 3. Siya ang atong glyceric acid. Okay. So, nagka-create na tag glyceric acid sa in general formula. Kataas na ito istorya, no? Okay, anak, yun na. Or, ato din ito kion. Okay. C3H6O4 plus methanol, CH3OH is equal to, pinatilaws-lawas because namaster naman nato gamay, we will say methyl glycerate. Okay? Methyl glycerate. Methyl glycerate. Okay? Plus water. So this is our esters of glyceric acid. If the question in the future, for example, test in science will say, is an ester of glyceric acid, your answer will be methyl glycerate. Or anything. An ester of propanoic acid. So, propanoate. Okay? An ester of butyric acid. So, butyrate. Things like that. So, in that simple question, we have an idea already. Okay, because the question of the examination in the future, it looks like difficult, but it's simple pala to answer. Okay, meaning catchy. You know, get the point? Things like that. In which our teachers don't normally use that as a question. Okay, then it will be asked in the final round, in the board examination. Or whatever examinations, it could be a government examination or private company examination, just like in Coca-Cola Butters Philippines Incorporated, CCBPI. Okay, I applied in Cebu plant. Okay, for the Coca-Cola. So, line 1, line 2, line 3, because I want to work in a Coca-Cola Cebu, because I'm from Cebu. Right? And I applied, and there's a lot of applicants during our time. Okay, and then exam like that, and you will, if you will not pass the examination, you will not be called for the next round. Right? So that is the case. You can relate that, I'm sure. All engineers can relate this. Okay, then after the calling, you will be there for the second round. Let's say, for example, if there are, let's say, hundreds, it will become 30, 20, like that. No, in the second round, initial interview. Okay, after that initial interview, it will become 15, like that, 10. Okay. And then, panel and final interview. It will become only 5 or 6 baron. Ana? Okay, 6. But we are 5 at the time. So, final round. 5. Okay. And after that, you have to choose only 1. So, how can you get the position? Okay, so I never expect, of course. Okay, after the top 5, then I did not expect already. Of course, no. Okay, I will apply for another. So, me, I'm not, I'm not satisfied. I called really the HR because I'm very confident. Okay, then they answered me, sir, actually, sir, we picked already to be hired in Cebu. I'm insulted because I'm from Cebu. They said they choose the from Ateneo de Manila University sa Manila, sa Luzon, then they will hire that in Cebu. Imagine, from Manila, he will fly to Cebu to become the, QA, blah, 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 so and so, in the QA department. Okay? And then, I am from Cebu. I was really a little bit disappointed, of course. And then he said, okay lang, sir, top 3 pa man gyapon ka, sir. Amo magikuha ang top 3. Kung nato ni mga existing mga vacancies, we will just call you. Things like that. Then, wala na ako, syempre. Wala na ako. Things like that. Sabi ko, lain. Okay, I think that's after 2 months and a half, they called me, sir, wala din pa baka committed, things like that. Are you still not working? So we are having available in Tagbilaran, Bohol, Coca-Cola. So I'm very happy because at least I get my objective to work in Coca-Cola. Okay, so they are really true with their promise that since I am in the top 3, they will assign me to another vacant. So that was in Tagbilaran, Bohol. I worked there, okay, as a product quality engineer in the QA department of CCBPI in Tagbilaran. Okay, things like that. So I worked there. Okay, see? So you will never lose hope na, pwede pa pala. Things like that. Things like that. But the screening process is so tough. Of course, you don't normally expect because there's a lot of applicants from different schools, USGR, University of San Carlos. Then since you are taking yourself as an, ako kasi guys, hindi ko magpalupig. sorry for the term. Okay? You get the point. So kung nagani ko makita ng mga applicants, ako siya i-prove na murag mo angat ko nila. Yung na akong quality as a candidate. Di ko mo settle sa kuan lang, average. Gusto ko mo excel, mo stand out ba. So ako na siyang ig-on sa akong communication skills in the interviews. Things like that. Ig-on ako ang mga panel manager in each department, then I will deliver a nice conversation with them. Things like that. So spontaneous akong mga answers with clarity, with pronunciation, like that and everything. Tuloy-tuloy. Wala na wala na nga na. It's not for me. Okay, what you could poses, kalo isa Ginoo, every answers of the interview. I don't love to pause. Okay? Straight gina siya. Like that. So, that's what most of the times really accepted me. Usa, magpili na lang ko asa kumugo. Out of 3, nakapasar na ako. Ano lang ko aning usa. Magpili na lang ko asa ang mga taas-taas ang mga offer. Things like that. So, in my case lang na siya ha. Okay, asa ko kibaw sa uban. Okay, you got the point. Sa ako, aral na akong i-relate ninyo. Okay. So there are times also, makapasa ka na hinay ang processing, that's why you go to another that will have a fast processing. Okay. For example, like here before, Dubai and Saudi and Bahrain. I have to choose one. Okay. Bahrain, Saudi, and Dubai. Okay. Dubai, HSE trainer. I passed already. Okay, things like that. So I am one of their trainers supposedly. Okay, I passed na everything, blah blah so and so. Okay, it take a little bit longer. Okay, now in Bahrain, I passed already in the very unique. This is the first time supposedly I will become a teacher, chemistry teacher. Okay, they interviewed me through phone. Things like, I'm telling that I am chemical engineer, blah, 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 so and so. And they really believe things like that. Okay, sir, like that. And they very excited to hire me, something like that, okay? And then, another is the Saudi, this company. So, of all the 3, ni fast man siya of process ang kanisya. That's why I'm here. But, honestly, I love talaga as a teacher. But, naunhan man siya, guys. So, I don't have to wait too much, right? things like that. For the reason that I'm also the, the breadwinner, things like that. Okay, so sige tag stay, mahurot atong kwarta or whatever, things like that. So makulban tag kaldero, and then our investment di na to makuha so it will still be accumulated there. Okay, things like that na na yung mga maturity date, di mo makuha basta-basta. Nakakaloka, things like that. Tapos you have to go. Okay, so if I not grab here, supposedly teacher na ako sa chemistry. I think it's an international school. Okay, in Bahrain. So chemistry talaga. Okay, but sad to say, okay, I can still vlog chemistry. Nakakaloka. Okay. And before I go also, I tried to apply to CIT. But, I changed my mind. Oh, I just come back to become a safety engineer. Things like that. Okay? So, guys, guys, if that is your, you are having talent and then your specialization is more on academic, so you can really choose what you are trying to choose, right? You don't settle to one specialization. You can go to other job. You can also be a chemist, you can also be a technical analyst, you can also be a teacher, you can be also a safety engineer. Like that, you get the point? You can also sometimes be a chemical information analyst. Okay, I have experience also of being a chemical information analyst. Okay, so our job there, okay, in Fuente, okay, our job here, that was, that's Innodata, if you are familiar with Innodata. Our job in Innodata is more on information analyst. So our manual and our brochure is products all over the world, and we will be the one to summarize, to take note the terms. Then we need to make it concise so that it will become their feature products like that. And then out very thick, it will become very thin. We need to analyze. Then, since the products are chemicals, then they will hire chemical engineering, BS chemist graduate, because if the profession is not related to chemistry, then they cannot they cannot summarize it well. Okay, because it includes chemical reactions, then you need to correct everything, the clerical error, like that, this is the same, the English language, the grammar, the redundancy, the duplication of thoughts, like that, the jargon. Okay, so you need to ensure the brevity is really concise, so that the offshoot will be effective to the readers, the substance of that particular products you introduce to the market, right? Okay, things like that. Okay, I'm enjoying that a lot being a CIA, chemical information analyst. It's not criminal investigator, ha? Okay, so that's another thing also. So ito siya guys, my experience. So that was ako palang first experience is documentation talaga siya. Okay, all about papers and documents. So muna siya na-apply na ako dili. Kaya naman ko yung background sa journalism in high school. Get the point. But ang reverse, 80% of that was not used here or was not used in my safety, because in safety you have to be direct, you have to be short in your words, to be easily understood. So since I am a very detailed, communicator, so it is the reverse. So that's my weakness. I cannot make sometimes very short sentence. Okay, it will runs really too longer. Okay, then of course I maintain the grammar accuracy but only the length. Sometimes mag-uol ko kay mahurot ang inyong thought ba, the more you will make it so concise. That's why I always explain to blah 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 that this gonna be like, it's not good also if we will just compromise every time that we will not to make it short. We will make it short if it is really necessary, but if we cannot make it very short, then for the purpose of hitting that, then we don't include the emphasis of the substance of what the sentence really is. Because, you know the point, guys? For example, if you make a document which is 2 sentences and you cannot really make it 1 sentence, then you need to drop out the important content there. It's not good just to follow the word short but sweet. Sometimes short but sweet will never be applied in there, especially if there are technical terminology that will be applied. That's why you will notice the brochure of the devices. If you buy mobile phone, take note for the manual. It's very long, right? Do you have a manual that is 1 page only? I will slap that in your face. Only 1 page. there's no another page that at the back. Because you cannot suffer the content just to hit that to make it short. You get the point? This is journalism all about. Journalism. You will not suffer the brevity and the length of your words just to make it short. And then you will reject all the important substance of the content. So dili siya inana, guys. Kung dili na gini siya magamay gyud ay pugsa, mo na gina siya pinakagamay. That's the point, things like that. Lengthy gyud siya. We need to make a document, for example, procedure, you make a document, you conceptualize a document, say, and then there's a lot of inputs, right? And then you cannot make it in one page. Yang pugsong yung kagpabuhaton mo, one page lang siya. Ikali trabaho, ana, sir. Liban kag ihimo ra nimo one page ang daghan inputs. You get the points? I-suffer lang yun just because it's readable, it's easy to read, things like that. So, murag dili mo siya highly professional just because to easily understood, imo siyang i-cut off ang mga importante nga mga thoughts. Okay, mo na siya na isod jud kay pagbuhat og document na usara jud ka page. Okay? For example, traffic management procedure, yung usara ka page. Pero nakakaloka, unsa man ang pag-input sa mga kuan, di ba? Nakakaloka mo na siya gan ang akong experience sa chemical information analyst. Chare. Okay. Yeah, chemical information kasi ay ipog ko nya nakakuan ko guys technical analyst TA. Nakasuway sa gusa ka nang sa QC sa IPI. Kana bitong ilang quality assurance diha, outgoing quality control. Ganon. Okay. Ito sa camera laboratory analyst ko sa water. Okay. Regret why I shifted to safety profession because I enjoyed a lot being in my profession and in my specialization for 7 years. Because others are questioning why you are not working as a chemical engineer that is for higher salary than being a safety engineer. Malay ko ba? I love safety. You get the point? Things that I don't want really to focus on the four corners of the laboratory. I need to go different places and explore the flora and fauna, the vegetation, the microorganisms.